Okay. So the question comes, last week we talked about why should we meditate? Why meditation is important, how it connects us to the higher self, and how it should make a practical change in your life. But anybody who looks at meditation as a 15-20 minutes procedure, they're wrong. Unless it actually changes your life, it loses its value. Yes, you will come out rejuvenated and all this thing, but does it really change your life? Do the people see the change in you? And whether people see it or not, do you feel the change within you or not? That's more important. So a constant study of your own inner psyche is very important to really make the meditation practical. The problem we have is we have a disease called materiality. I'm not saying materialism, that's how the whole world is. But that's the physical approach that we have in the day-to-day life, the materialism. Everybody, we deal with matter all the time. But we have gone one step beyond. We have become inside material. And that's the materiality, like a spirituality, opposite of spirituality, where we have our inner core of spirit, but we don't know anything about it. So what the materialism has done has influenced our inner psyche to the point that it has become material. So we're living with materiality all the time. And that is a disease. Just like our diseases have taken share of our body, like diabetes and blood pressure and whatnot, the materialism has penetrated within us. And all day long, 24/7, all we think is about the matter. We wake up in the morning, we deal with the matter. We inhale matter. We handle matter. We run after things which are material. Everything about us has become matter. From the time we are born till we die, we deal with matter and nothing else to that matter. And it is a shame, because world is not just matter. It's a lot more than that. In fact, the matter in the universe is only 4% of the total universe. Rest is dark energy and dark matter and dark energy. All these things we don't know. Even science with those advanced instruments has not been able to. And yet, for most of the people, from the time they're born till they're dead, it's 100% matter and nothing else. They live matter, they eat matter, they breathe matter. Our body is matter. Our mind is matter. All the products of this material society are also material. And we have become so materialized with materiality that our thoughts are also material. Even things like love, compassion, we are putting in the material way. How much do you love me? What can you do for me that you can prove that you love me? Our love has become material. Even the things which are supposed to come from beyond the mind, beyond the matter, has become material. Our gods are material. We have given shape to the gods. The God who created this infinite universe, we have put them in a statue. And then we worship as if that everything is okay. Our heavens are material. What kind of heavens are we dreaming? We have streams and streams of black label. There will be sharab ke jharne behte honge. Apsarae, again, we are dreaming of material objects. Realize this. Our heavens are material. Apsaras who never get old. They're always 16. I don't know why. Look at our imaginations. And our heavens are also material. What kind of punishments can we think of? What are the worst punishment? Putting somebody in a scalding oil. Oil na kadama and then there are shaitans. They are beating and flogging people up. And all those things are material. Look how limited we are. We are running around at that 4% of the universe. And they say 96% we don't even know. We cannot even imagine beyond the matter, because our imagination are going to be shortened by the material mind that we have, right? So that's where all the problems happens, right? So there's there's a joke. So the guy goes to the final, after his death, he goes to the guard. He says, let's say you have done a lot of wrong things, so you have to come and, suffer the consequences. So he says, you're destined for hell. He says, do I have choice in the hell? He says, yeah, we have made some, choices for you. So at least you feel that you have some freedom to choose, So the guard takes him in one of the rooms, and then there where the shaitan was like flogging, and there is a skin fraying all over, blood is coming out, and the guys, people are, scorching, and they're like screaming and all that. And then they take him and say, this is really tough. I don't want to take that. So then they take him to another room, and instead they're like scalding oil is being thrown on them, and they are burning. And he says, no, this is also not good. So the guard takes him in the third room, where the whole room is like filled with shit, and like it's all poop on the, and people are standing and drinking a cup of coffee. He said, that's all? He says, yeah, this is the third hell, if you want to take that. Okay, I think I can handle that. So the guy who is in charge says, come over. He says, okay, join the tea party. So everybody's drinking tea while they're standing on the poop, right? So the guy goes, he's happy. He says, at least it's better than the other two hells, right? And he says, after 10 minutes, he says, the bell rings. He says, now the recess is over. Now you turn upside down. So this is how we have created our heavens and hell. Because we cannot even go beyond the mind. The mind is materiality, and this is our limitation. So we cannot even think what can exist beyond the matter. And that's where the meditation comes into the picture. We can get a glimpse into the spirituality through the process of meditation. And once we have a glimpse into the spiritual aspect of our body, then we can understand what have been our mistakes. Chinese people have Chinese gods. Vietnamese people have Vietnamese gods. So we are really creating some kind of imaginary existence which we are trying to escape from the reality. The matter which is in front of us is luring us into the fantastical things. We want pleasures, we don't want sufferings, and all these things are right in front of us, and we do not want to accept it. The reason we don't want to accept it, that it is too painful. So we'll want to escape. So we create the future that, okay, I don't like this, but I'm gonna work towards a better future. And this is like a dangling carrot that's been thrown at us, and we keep running like a rabbit. It never catches the carrot, but the carrot is always there. So we have a future in front of us. So through the mind, which has become totally material, we escape the present. We don't want to accept it. So we create an imaginary future. And the future always looks good, just like the hell, until the party is over. Then it turns into hell again. So all these promises are created by the mind. And mind is blind. Mind does not know the future, and yet we believe the mind. So our belief in the mind has taken us into perpetual cycle of suffering. And we don't see it as a suffering. Diabetics don't see the pricking needles, pricking their fingers every day as a suffering. You say, well, everybody's doing it, so what's the big deal? So we really not seen and escaping the current society, and we are surrounded by them. I mean, I was in China. In China, I tell you, you do not see an obese person. And in fact, their waists are half my size. You look around, they have like this tiny waists. But the work they put in, they are so thin, they're active all the time. There are no dairy products in China. I mean, now things are changing. That's another story. They hardly eat, they don't have red meats. They have fish, maybe the most. But most of their products are soy-based, and most of the things are boiled vegetables, tofus, and things like that. They are hardworking people. So I went there, like we stayed like 2.5 weeks, right? So you are so used to seeing thin, skinny people all the time. And I just got used to it. So one time we were at the airport, we changed a lot of flights. So one of the airports we were sitting, and all of a sudden I'm surrounded by obesity. Suddenly, like, I'm reading a book and I'm surrounded by big bellies. I said, what happened here? Suddenly I realized that I was on the flight back to US. All the passengers. So our environment is creating us. So our environment is full of materiality. So our mind also, which accepts everything from outside, also become material. And just because everybody is doing wrong, the wrong becomes the right. Just like Hitler took advantage of the German people. People are nice, but with the constant bombardment of the wrong things, the wrong becomes right. Hitler says, if you just have to keep saying the same thing again and again, becomes the truth.
Trump is doing the same thing.
Trump is doing the same thing. I mean, your next door neighbor disappears overnight, and you don't even ask. You don't even ask the question, why? What happened to my next door neighbor? Not only that, you join the crowd in believing that Jews are bad, just because of the propaganda. So our situation is exactly the same. We talk spirituality, we inhale spirituality, we breathe spirituality, we think spirituality, our thoughts, our ideas, beliefs, everything has become material, and there is no escape out. And that's where the meditation comes in. So meditation opens you up into a zone where the thoughts start calming down. And eventually you do hit a state of thoughtlessness. It's an intermediate state, but it is there where the thoughts don't exist. And now you are going towards your own spiritual aspect, where you're going deeper and you're realizing your awareness, your consciousness is start rising. And in front of the consciousness, thoughts are dancing, but they are not bothering you anymore. Now, for the moment, you're dead to the world. The world is coming, world is going, doesn't matter, but you still exist in the form of consciousness, awareness, existence. These are the building blocks of your new existence. You may not have flipped over the state of self-realization, which is far from it, but you can. You can reach to the state of self-realization. But again, this process happens, unfortunately, for most of the people in meditative state, and that's it. But the life doesn't change. So how do you utilize this experience that you get within you, where you do become thoughtless? Where does that take you into the day-to-day life? Because life brings choices in front of you every single moment. Every moment is a choice, whether to go slip towards the matter or rise towards the spirit. Its choice is yours. So Katha Upanishad I always talk about is Nachiket, when he goes into the jungle and he does the tap for the Lord Yam, the Lord of Death. He says, how do you select the people? How do you select your victims? Who should die and who should not? So the slok that follows that is a beautiful slok. And I made that a motto of my life. And that's how the things change. All these things sitting in the book have no value unless you put them in a daily life. Otherwise, it's just book knowledge. It becomes part of the material collection that you have in your head. Whenever you want, you recite it, you impress somebody else, and that's the end of that. Oh, he knows this, and then your ego is served. Those things have no value. So Lord Yam says, Shreyascha preyascha manushyam etaha. Shreya and preya. Preya is pleasant. Shreya is good. Shreyascha preyascha manushyam etaha. Manushya faces two choices. They say Manushya, animals don't have choices. They do not have a discriminative mind. The yantra that we have, the instrument that we have, ours is far more advanced. We are able to discriminate. The Vivek Buddhi, we have it, animals don't. That's where the yantra comes into the picture. What yantra you have in the first place. Manushyatva, mumukshatva, dharmalabh. Three are the rarest of the rarest to combine in this universe. Manushyatva, that's where the yantra, Manushya yantra, is very priceless, is very unique that we have. And then mumukshatva, to desire to do something with it. So that's where the tantra, the inner arrangement, how your inner arrangement is going to span out to make the best use of it. And then dharma labh, the dharma which is the purest of the purest dharma, divine, the divinity that has been flowing, for that to flow, not the corrupted religious institutions we're talking about. That's where the waste of time, that one leg is missing there. Two things may be there. You may have mumukshatva, you are manushya, but the dharma labh does not happen.
But most people like that.
I understand.
It's creation of people.
Again, it's the mind.
Yeah.
Because they want to be satisfied at the mind level. So mind is the culprit. Mind win again, and you lose. And your life is wasted. So shreyascha preyascha manushyam etaha tau samparitya vivinakti dhiraha. Dhira, the one who is with the balanced mind, what will he do? Tau samparitya vivinakti. He will use vivek buddhi to see the difference between the two. What is shreya? What is preya? So shreyascha preyascha manushyam etaha tau samparitya vivinakti dinaha. And then what happens? The next two lines are the most important. Shreyo abhi preyasho vrunite. Vrunite, what he puts into action. Dhiro abhi, what a dhir person will do. He will select shreya over preya. Shreyascho, dhirabhi, preyaso vrunite. He will select shreya over preya. Preya, pleasant, good is shreya. He will select good over pleasant. And what preya will do? Mando. Dhira abhi is the balanced state of mind. Manda, somebody's buddhi, the vivek buddhi has not risen yet. In Sanskrit, the word is mando. It's not a word of hatred, it's a state of mind. Mando means they have not risen above the mind. What will he do? Preyo mando yoga kshamat vrunite. Vrunite, what he will do and what will happen. Vrunite is your rest of the behavior after that. So preyo mando, preyo mando yoga kshemat vrunite. Yoga kshema is a beautiful word to understand. So what happens to the prayer, to the mando? Mando will select the prayer. He will select the pleasant over good. And what will happen after that? It starts a vicious circle of yoga kshema. Yoga is to connect. We know. It comes from word yuj, to connect. We do yoga over here. The ultimate goal is to connect higher. Physical exercises that's being done throughout the countries has no value, not much value. But once your chakras get activated, the ultimate is to rise and connect. So huge means to connect, but connection can be good, connection can be bad. Connection can be with Haagen-Dazs or Merlot or whatever, doesn't matter. All the objects of pleasure, the Sanskrit calls it vishyas. All the wish, these are the poisons of life. To connect with those is the ultimate way the mando will take, because it is pleasant. So yoga is to connect with anything, whether it's a good connection, bad connection, one that takes you down, one that takes you up. There is no steadiness. The whole world is changing. We don't realize that what's the big deal. Like I have a friend in Park Ridge, right? So I had stopped drinking. So one of the parties we got together, and she says, why don't you drink? I said, well, I mean, I would rather not drink because it affects me. Next day, if I want to meditate, nothing happens, So then she takes a sip. So, see, anything happened? No. It's like she's talking to a kid. He says, look, see, nothing happened. I said, you will never understand, because the inner depth that I have, I do understand. I see the difference. And the difference tells me that I don't want to go to that route, but I would rather take that route. But it's too much to talk to people at the manda level versus the buddhi level, right? So the point that I'm stressing, the most important thing is there is no steadiness. Even though we conceive as a steadiness, The steadiness does not happen until you reach to the shunya state. Until then, there is a continuous motion. Your thoughts are moving, your mind is moving, your ideas are moving, you are moving, the world, stars, moons, everything is moving. So, if you are not making an upward motion, what is happening to you? You are going downward. So every drink that you're taking, or every cigarette that you're smoking, or every wrong look that you're making towards the world, you are establishing your cycle. You're developing a vritti. A vritti is a static thing. It's a continuous change. Vasana and vrittis are deeply studied within your psyche, right? So these vrittis and vasanas are the culprit that when you come in the next life, you're going in the wrong direction or right direction. Whatever vasanas and vrittis you have created, you are creating all the time. We are a miniature God. God is creating all the time. We are also creating all the time. But what are we creating? That's what matters. So you are standing on the top of a mountain. Whether you want to go towards the sky or you want to slide down towards the valleys, it's up to you. And that's the most beautiful thing we have, is the freedom that has been given to us to choose. Freedom to choose is the ultimate gift that everyone has. And all hands down, everyone has it. And the choice we never exercise, but that's where this slok helps you to select what is pleasant and what is good. So yoga kshema. So yoga is the connection. So what happens once you connect to this lower existence where the prayer is the priority? That means the mind is the priority. See the difference. You evaluate the words, a shreya and a prayer. Good and a pleasant. Pleasant to what? Pleasant to your mind. Pleasant to your body, right? So pleasant state of mind looking for pleasures is at what level? At the mind or the body level. And that's it. Shreya, what does the Shreya means? Shreya is good. Good, something that will do you good. Now, it's not a promise of the future or anything, but it is the fact. The Shreya will be Shreya for you in the long run. But in the beginning, it may feel uncomfortable. But the Shreya in the long run becomes good. Prayer in the long run becomes bad, right? So if you select prayer, means the pleasant, you are still running at the mind and the body level. The Brahmatva state, Brahma is where Brahma is Vicharan, he's expanded. He wants to be all over. That state does not happen to you. What did you do? You made one choice. Now, what is going to happen? For the first time, you had a Coke, or first time, you had a puff of cigarette, first time, you had a beer. You don't like it. But then what happens? And then what happens is the same environment say that it's okay. Try it again. Second time, third time. Now you are getting into the yoga kshema cycle. Kshema is your first connection, and yoga is the first connection, and kshema is all the subsequent prices that you pay because of your first choice that you made wrong. So yoga kshema is a vicious circle, and for that, again, what do you have to do? First it was only beer, then it was a Merlot, then it was a black label, then it was this, then there is some exotic drink that came from here, and this and that and all that. I was in Napa Valley. I tell you, you should see it. Even the Fifth Avenue looks like nothing. It's like extravagant wineries over there, and people come these are like they are doing a pilgrimage. For them, this is a pilgrimage, and they pay the respect to Merlot. Oh my God, see J this and that, J Crew and what, all those big names are like gods, right? And it's amazing. And you hang around with the same crowd and say, okay, bow down, have a sip anyway, like that. The whole atmosphere is like that.
At least they are surrendering to something.
Something, right. So the yoga kshema cycle is a disaster because it's deepening your vrittis. And these vrittis are what make decide your next behavior. That's why I always say, Like 5 friends go to a village. One guy is religious. What is he gonna do? Look for temple. One guy is addicted. What is he gonna look for? The bar. One guy is a poet. What is he gonna look for? Beautiful scenery, the lake or woods or hiking or whatever. So everybody is carrying the final result of their vrittis and vasanas they have created over life or lives. We don't know. So that's why all the kids which are born are not the same. Every kid is different. Every kid is bringing those hidden vrittis and vasanas. So vrittis and vasanas is what writes our karmic cycle. And this karmic cycle is what we want to be released from. So what do we have to do? That's why the choices are important. Good and pleasant. Shreya or a preya. So good is never pleasant. It may not tantalize your senses, but it does give you the final release from this karmic cycle. But pleasant is immediate pleasure, is right there. But in the long run is not good. So good or pleasant, you have to choose. So when I was into running and I wanted to do, of course my cholesterol triglycerides used to be very high. I got into running and I hated running. To tell you the truth, 5 o'clock in the morning, who wants to run when the whole world is sleeping and it's 0 degree out there? What do? Going back to the bed is pleasant, but hitting the road is good. So I said, just for the heck of it, I'll select good over pleasant. At that time, the mind does not exist. At that time, who is taking decision for you? The thoughtless state. Thoughts are mind. Nike says, just do it. Do not think about it. Thinking creates two choices, good and pleasant. And you always select the pleasant over good. But then its subsequent behavior, the yogakshemic cycle, is the price that you pay for it. But like I said, it depends upon your environment. It depends upon what you want to accept as a normal environment. That seems okay. Nothing wrong with it. There are plenty of friends to agree with you. And you will. And you will go on in that direction. But one good decision that you take in life can not change not only your inner environment, but everybody's around you also. That's where the flavor of the shield, your inner character, starts showing up. The Atma starts waking up. So far, Atma was sleeping. He said, well, you do whatever you want to do. But this is your choice, your life. You decide you want to select pleasant over good, then so be it. So Lord Yam said that this is how I select my victims. Whoever selects pleasant over good becomes my victim. Whoever selects good over pleasant stays away from me. So this is how the meditation can be a practical reality if every moment you get deep into the thoughtless state. You experience yourself without the thoughts, means without the mind, without the body. We are not the mind, we are not the body, but it has to become your truth, not just because somebody says that. ઇન્ડિયામાં તો રિક્ષાવાળા બી કહે કે આત્મા જ અમર છે, આપણે તો મરવાના નથી, everything is okay. This is a total misuse of the highest knowledge that has been provided to us without filtering to your daily life. People say that doesn't matter. Ultimately, we are all, so might as well just enjoy life. But that's not the enjoyment. That is the enjoyment of materiality. But the enjoyment of the spirituality that you have never experienced. Imagine the materiality is 4% and the 100% of the infinite spirituality. How beautiful can it be? So you can go enjoy that thoughtless state where the thoughts don't exist. You are in a pure divine state. The enjoyment, the freedom that you get from materiality is the fruits of your right decisions, the good over the pleasant. So analyze your life like a Vivek Buddhi. Be somebody who has a higher state of mind, not mando. Mand are living at the mind level and they do what everybody else does. And you select the more and more deeper vrittis, and these vrittis gonna haunt you sooner or later. You may see it or not. For that, you don't have to stand in the pool of poop. The poop is right here. The nark is right here. And the freedom is the swarg that you can experience. You don't have to take any of these choices. You are free. So that's where the meditation becomes practical. You remain choiceless. Whatever comes in front of us, you do not decide right or wrong. You do not try to decide what is pleasant, what is good. You just be good. At the thoughtless state, you become the Atma, you become the consciousness, and consciousness just acts. Whatever is in front of you, it synchronizes with your present moment. It does not fantasize, okay, I don't like this, I want something better. And then you run and everything starts. So realize this calamity, realize this misfortune of yourself. Don't even comment on others and point others until you are that state. Realize your sufferings of life and realize that it is a suffering. Until you realize that this is a suffering, the action never comes. When you start accepting the positive moment, the positive acceptance of the existing moment, then the dynamism comes. The dynamism comes from Atma. Atma now gives you an energy to think, what do I do? And that's when the release starts, the freedom starts, and ultimately the flight in the sky of spirituality, the infinite. That's when you start realizing what infinity means. Until then, like I said, since your mind is all material, these stupid imaginations are going to haunt you. Somebody comes and tells you have this many X number of karmas, you have to do this to burn these karmas, this and that and all that. Everybody else can tell you. But this way, your Atma is rising, nobody has to tell you. You know what to do. You are your own guidance. You are your future maker. That's why they say, right, where we talk about that, Tumi ho mata, tumi ho pita, right? You are the father, you are the mother, you are the guru. All that inspiration can come from within. Your even concept of the wealth should change. Because we donate and we think we did a big deal. When we had the money, we did not do anything right. We got sucked into all these pleasures of drinking and eating, and we have diseases all over galore. And we give the money to the beggar. The beggar does not have a disease because he's working hard all day long, and we feel sorry, and then we give him money, and this is all he needs. And then the money starts another cycle of suffering for him. Chances are it will. But that shows what value we give it to the money. And that shows our material mind. We think we did a big deal by giving money to someone. I'm not saying don't give the money. That's not the issue. The issue is, what is your state of mind? You still give importance to the money, right? So when you go within and you realize that money only keeps you floating in the material world. It only allows you to do what you could not do before the money. That's all. You didn't change from inside. Your desires were still the same. They just got magnified. It's like you give a loudspeaker to a crow. Now, who wants to hear the crow? But as soon as the loudspeaker comes, now the whole world has to listen to the crow. Look, now nobody has to go far beyond looking at Washington, D.C., right? So, so you have to listen to this crap, But this is what happens. Until the inner cleansing does not happen, your outside behavior will not change. So going to this religious organization, then they say, do this and do this and do that. Everybody knows what to do. Everybody knows what to do. We should not be doing this. We should not be dating. We should not be drinking. Everybody knows that. It's not a big deal. It's a part of the material knowledge. But the spiritual knowledge is what gonna do the cleansing. You are standing there, and in front of you are all your vrittis and vasanas floating around. What are you gonna do? There is nobody else. The inner self is your teacher. Inner self is your father. Inner self is your mother. Everything, all the learning, teaching, everything happens inside, because that's where the dirt is. Dirt is not outside. Your behavior, you keep it clean. You don't want to get into the trouble with the law, so you behave. But that doesn't mean that you have all the wishes that's good for the others, right? So your behavior is clean only because the law is there. If the police is not there, you're gonna drive at 180 miles an hour. But just because police, you're worried and getting a ticket, that's why you don't drive. That doesn't mean that your cleansing is done. So remain restless.
We are creating job for other
Right.
people.
So that's how the whole society expands, the materialism expands. If your inner cleansing is there, we don't need police. If you drive fast and if somebody dies, even just the thought alone should say, okay, if I lose control of my car and 5 other people die, it's not fair. Your care for the other Atma should make you say that I will just drive within limits. Things like that. So your body, your mind are your instruments. You have to know how to learn to drive it properly. So all the thing that happens in meditation has to spill into your daily life. And that's how the meditation becomes practical. All right? So much for today.
Okay, Jai Gurudev.